Origi!
Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Way podcast. It's the night after we beat Southampton 2-1 to secure our spot in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. We couldn't record straight after the game as we usually would because it was our Christmas night out, and as a result of that we've had a lot of the regulars rule themselves out of this one. So you've got me, Dave Usher, editor at liverpoolway.co.uk, alongside my ever faithful partner in crime, John Gallagher, and making his first appearance on the pod is a long-time friend of ours and a part of the furniture at TLW, more or less from the beginning, the Great Dane, Peter Schulz. Okay, Pete, first of all, welcome to the pod, your first appearance. We'll start with you because, unlike me and John, you actually watched the whole game and were focusing on the game. Like we sort of seen the game, we know what happened, but we weren't really zoned in because it's difficult when you're watching it in the pub when you're talking to people and stuff. So what I'm wondering is, like, I thought we looked pretty good what I seen in the first half and pretty shit in the second. Is that accurate, or have you got anything to add to that?
Well, thanks for having me on. I'd say it's fairly accurate. I thought the first half was very good. We didn't look like the away team, and also, I mean, I was a bit surprised that we looked that good because of the changes and some of the players hadn't played together probably ever before. I mean, Naoni started the first game, I think, and I just made a comment to Ian at the beginning that we didn't look like an away team at all because we were so dominant, and you felt, maybe after 5 minutes you felt this is only a matter of time until we score. And the game didn't change, but I was going to say the first goal comes after maybe a little bit of good fortune. I think it's a pass from Trent that gets knocked into the air and into the path of Nunez, and then the goalkeeper slips and we're 1-0 up. And I just thought from then on, for a long time during the game I wasn't worried at all. I thought we were going to score more.
Yeah, we did get one more, but the second half, nothing seemed to be happening. It just seemed to be petering along, and I'm talking and I'm looking up at the screen and I'm like, there's still nothing going on. This seems like we've just stopped playing, and you're always then thinking all it's going to take is like they get one goal and then they're going to get, like, because they were not in the game, they were doing nothing, but all it was going to take was for them to score, and then suddenly the crowd gets into it, they get the tails up. They got the one and they almost got another one. Queeves made a really good save, hasn't he? But I never felt like we were not going to go through. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you were paying more attention to me. Were you nervous at any point, even when it got to 2-1?
Maybe when they scored, we had about 5 minutes where you just thought, we just need to regain control and get the ball on the deck and pass it around and, control the tempo, which, is what we've done so often this season under Slot. And I think that's what happened. I mean, he made all the substitutions pretty much the way I think he planned them. So he wasn't that worried, I don't think, because, you would have probably kept some players on for longer if you were worried.
Yeah, he brought Dan's on as well, didn't he? Which, again, it showed that was probably part of the plan, and he's not deviated away from that just because the game was close.
No, I think he wasn't worried. I was like, when they scored, we're going to have to concentrate. I didn't think that they'd had anything leading up to it that made me worry or think that they were going to come back. But obviously, if there's only one goal in it, you can score from anything, set piece or any fluke or whatever. But I think after the 5 minutes, Keller made the save, and then I think we just took control again, and then it was only until the last 5 minutes or maybe injury time when they sort of were able to put some high balls into our box and apply a bit of pressure. Not that they didn't find anything. They didn't have any big chances. I don't remember. So considering the 11 players we had on the pitch at the end of the game, I thought it was, rather, I wouldn't say comfortable, but we weren't under the cosh or whatever you'd say. I mean, it didn't feel like they put us under a lot of pressure, even at that stage.
Yeah, I was thinking, because you're looking at the team and it's unfamiliar. You've got some young players coming in, you've got players out of position and that, but during the second half when things weren't, it wasn't flowing, we weren't really doing anything. But I looked at the team, I'm like, hang on a minute, look at the front three that we've got there. You had Chiesa, Jota and Darwin. It's like, all it's going to take here is just one break and we do something, and then that's the third goal and that's it. But it never really looked like that was going to happen. And what I was wondering, because we haven't got any sound on it when we're watching the pub, so we don't know. Sometimes like the commentary will sort of set the narrative a little bit. What were the conditions? Do you think the conditions made that game like really difficult? Because it looked, obviously it was wet, but it looked like it was really windy. But I don't know, were the commentary team talking about that? What was your feel for how the conditions played a part?
Well, the commentary team I had was obviously Danish, and they weren't at the stadium either, so I'm not sure they gave us anything. But it did look very windy, and with rain, coming and going, it looked difficult. But I suppose it's difficult for both teams, isn't it? So.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think we did come close, didn't we, once or twice, and
Jota
on
had
other
a few
occasions,
moments, didn't he, when he come on?
And Chiesa had a shot saved off the line, I think we had a few situations where, a better pass or a better vision would have, sorted us. But I was waiting for the third goal. I thought, it was there for us, but I suppose it wasn't. But I thought we came a lot closer than they did in the last 15.
Yeah. They only had that one moment when Quansah tangled with the forward and they wanted a sending off, didn't he? I don't know if it was in the box or not. Did they want a penalty or was it outside?
I think they wanted a penalty. It's it looked like it started outside and continued into the box, but
I just thought that was classic 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Like the forward puts his arm in front of him to get in front, and Quansah puts his arm across and is like, no, you're not getting in front, and they're both sort of doing that, and then the forward decides, I'm going to go down.
Yeah, well, he gets into the box and then decides. I think he's probably decided long before that's what he wants to do.
Seen them given though.
Yeah,
doesn't mean it should have been given, but we have seen them given.
No, he seemed pretty certain that it wasn't. So.
What was your commentary team saying?
I don't think they didn't think it was a penalty, and neither did I.
I've seen a lot of social media nonsense today about how it's like clear cut and how was this not given. But
he doesn't actually do any. I mean, he doesn't do anything that I'd consider was a foul.
No, he puts his arm across his chest, but that's defending. That's part of it, isn't it? You get your body in front, you put your arm across. I just thought it would have been really soft if they'd given it.
It would have been. I agree. I mean, I didn't think Quansah doesn't do anything that would in any way make the defender fall.
Yeah. He chose to fall. The way I
recalled it, I haven't seen it today. So,
Stu made a good point while we were watching that. Like, he said, in that situation, he said, if you're Quansah, the one thing you cannot do is look guilty. You've got to just, and he said, like, look at Quansah's face. Quansah just had a look on his face as if to say, what the fuck are you doing? How ridiculous is that? He's looking at the ref and going, have you seen this, ref? Look at the state of it. And that sort of plays a part because the referee's thinking, I don't think that's a foul. But if Quansah's looking a bit sheepish, you'd be like, maybe it was. But when Quansah's like reinforcing what your opinion is, he's like, behave yourself. What the hell's that? So yeah, I thought Quansah sold that quite well because the one thing you don't want to do is look like you have committed a foul. Going back to the beginning, we didn't see it because we missed the first 10 minutes because we were recording our Christmas pod we recorded it in a studio in town, and then once we'd finished, we had to go and look for a pub that was showing the game. So by the time we got in, it was like it was 10 minutes had gone. So I'm not sure exactly when the first goal was, but I know that just before that, I think like I just seen like Stu was looking at me with like a wry smile on his face, and I was like, well, what happened? And he said something like, your boys just blazed one over or something like that. So I'm like, oh fucking hell, here we go, it's going to be a long night. So then we get drinks, we sit down. Felt like we'd only just sat down. I look up at the screen, pass gets played through, loops up in the air, and all of a sudden Nunez is clean through on goal, and my arse starts twitching like a rabbit's nose. I'm like, oh my God. I was more nervous sat there than I would have been if I was actually running through on goal, because I felt like there was as many eyes on me as there was on the screen, because all like the lads are all there, with the exception of Brownie and John B. It's like the whole pod crew were there, and I could feel like people are like looking at the screen but looking at me, and I'm like, oh shit, if this doesn't go well, this is not going to be good. You know what, I'm pretty sure I was sat next to Stu, and I'm pretty sure like Stu sort of almost reenacted like the Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher thing after Rodgers was sacked. He didn't put his hands on my knee, but I think he put his hands on my shoulder just to steady me. But I was proper shitting myself. And when the keeper fell over, that just made it worse. Like, although it makes the chance easier, it puts more pressure on the situation. It's like, oh my God, if he doesn't score now after the keeper's fell over and he's clean through. But yeah, thankfully, like he put it away. But that was a nervous moment for me. But
it's pretty clinical. I mean,
yeah, he's finished it the way he's done exactly what you would want him to do. But John, did you fancy him to score there or not?
I don't know. That's the thing with Darwin. You just you don't know until the moment. So yeah, I mean,
were you even watching him or were you watching me?
I was sort of like quick glance at the screen, and I looked at you, and I seen the relief on your face. To be honest with you, you know, cold or not that you've got at the moment, I could just see that tangible look of relief that he'd scored, and I know you give a little fist pump in the air and all that.
Yeah, and then a little shush to Terry.
A little shush to Terry, who was sat in the corner, yeah, with a little right sort of ironic smile on his face, which was quite funny. So yeah, but it was one of those with Darwin, as I say, until the moment's happened. You just don't know how he's gonna. I mean, I'm not anti-Darwin or pro-Darwin. You know, I've had a little bit of a rib with you on the chat and that about in our group chat, but you know, I want him to do well because I want the club to do well. You know, like I'm sure Terry does and all the lads do, but you know, that's their opinion. You know, they don't think he's going to cut the jib here, so it's, you know, who knows what's going to happen with him long term. But in terms of the finish, he took it well, as you say. Whether the keeper slipping that slight second made a difference or not, I don't know. But he put it in the corner that you want, like a striker clean through to put in that corner, so fair play to him.
I think the problem you've got with Darwin is you judge strikers like in comparison to me. And that's why, like, there's always a problem. Like, other than Harry Kane, who's like the only one who you kind of see as an equal.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like everyone else is like, no, I'm not sure about him. But
the way he finished it was how you'd expect. I mean, it was how you'd expect a clinical forward to finish them every time. Like, say, Harry Kane or someone else without all of the baggage that he's had recently.
The right finish, it was the right obvious finish in that situation, which he doesn't always do. That's part of the problem, is like sometimes like he picks the wrong option. That was exactly what you want him to do in that situation.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That was the pleasing.
But you remember the goal last season he scored against Brentford?
That was not the right thing to do.
But it was brilliant when he did it.
But it was not
like,
the right thing to do.
It wasn't the right thing to do. But you know, you just think that was fucking phenomenal what he did. And it's
I wondered if he was going to do that again.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, don't, because if you do something like that, it goes wrong. Fucking hell.
I don't know. Could you hear that? Because I think possibly right after he'd missed his first shot, you could hear the crowd singing the shit Andy Carroll. Yeah, and you could sort of see when he did score that he reacted to it.
No, he knows what that is. Klopp said that last year. I can't remember what game it was. He scored, and I don't know if it might have been the Forest game, I don't know, when he got that winner late on. Whatever it was, the fans had been singing that, and Klopp said something about that stupid song, and they said, does Darwin know what that is? And he was like, yeah. He says, I know what it is, and he does as well. So it's obviously something he's aware of, and that's why he's reacted like that, like cupping his ear and then telling them to shush and that. I just wish he'd been able to do that to more fans, because every time it happens, it's like, come on, just score and shut them up. But it's not really been happening, has it? I think that's like, what was his first goal in 10 or something like that?
He's
a bit misleading, because he's not starting every game, you know. He's not playing 90 minutes every game, so it always looks worse.
Played Villa about 3 weeks ago, didn't we? And he scored in that game. He took that goal well, didn't he? In the Villa game.
We've played so many games though. There probably has been like 10 games since then.
Yeah. Do you think there's something to this, that that he scores away from home here, and I don't know if he feels less pressure away from home with their fans and not ours.
He scored against
an interesting
Bournemouth
point,
on Anfield. He scored against Villa, and he's only got 4 goals, hasn't he? And so 2 home and 2 away. What's he got? 5?
I do feel that most of his goals
in Europe, didn't he?
Tend to come away. If you go back to last season, I'd love to see the stats. That's an interesting point Pete's made there. The stats has got, most strikers score the goals at home, don't they, generally? But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more 50-50 with Darwin. It'd be an interesting stat to sort of look over that.
Yeah, but
how
many times has he hit the woodwork at Anfield? 4 in one game against Chelsea, remember that?
That's right, yeah.
Well, it could be tactical as well, obviously, if we're relying a little bit more on counter-attacks, and space in behind for him that we don't get at home.
Yeah. Yeah, the only time we tend to get space like that at home is when the other team's got a corner and we're breaking away. Other than that, there's very little space to run in behind usually.
That was where his Villa goal came from, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
That type of goal, yeah.
So the second goal was a bit of a deflection, but decent finish anyway from Harvey, who, like I say, I wasn't paying that much attention. I can't say this player had a great game, that player was shite, because I didn't see all of the game in that way. But from what I did see, I thought Harvey looked bright and busy, and he did get man of the match on Sky. So I'm assuming Harvey had a good game, Pete.
Well, I agree. I agree with the award. I thought he was very positive against Fulham when he came on.
Yeah.
And that's been his problem. I think you've touched on this last season, that he always tends to look better when he comes on rather than starts games. But it didn't feel like it last night, because he was straight into it and kept attacks going with short passes and made himself available constantly. Even if he was playing,
was he in the front?
He started the game out of position, didn't he, at right wing?
Yeah.
So which is always another worry, because he doesn't have most pace. I mean, he has so many other things, but he's not going to threaten a lot of fullbacks, in the space behind. But he was able to adapt anyway last night. I thought he was really good and positive, all the way through.
Who else stood out for you?
Well, I think everyone else has mentioned it online as well. But I thought, we'd heard that Endo could play at the back, and it was nice to have it confirmed that that's the case, because with injuries and whatever else happens this season, we might need him again. Because if he goes and plays centre half, then
Is that where he played? I know, like, it looked a bit weird to me. Like, it looked like when we didn't have the ball, he was playing centre-back. And then when we did get it, we went to a back three and Enzo just moved into midfield.
Well, either him or Gomez, they sort of switched. So one of them went into midfield, in the first half constantly. So we only had three, but Southampton were only playing with one up front at that point. So
isn't it weird
so
though? We've done
made
that
sense.
when Trent's in the back three. You think Trent would be the one who would just get moved into midfield, and instead Trent seemed to be in the back line quite a bit, and then it'd be Enzo, or as you say, Gomez was going into midfield.
I suppose, yeah, but I mean Trent still made the pass for the first goal. So
no, obviously that was the plan. Was maybe he can get on the ball a bit more if he's deeper. I just think that was quite interesting that we chose to put other players into the midfield rather than Trent.
But I like it was so obvious early on that's what we were doing, that, it made sense because we just, it helped us take control every time we lost the ball in their half. So we had lots of players around, so it was easier for us to win it back straight away instead of them being able to come out with the ball and have longer attacks against us.
Tell us about Trey Nione and Tyler Morton, because I'll be honest, from what I've seen, I cannot remember Trey Nione barely touching the ball. I don't remember seeing him doing anything like good or bad.
Well, he obviously did touch the ball quite a lot. He looks very silky, in my opinion. Sort of, probably got told just sort of, keep everything reasonably simple and pass it to someone in the same shirt and then, move into space and get it back. And I thought he did that quite well without really running away with headlines and being centre of everything good that happened. But he was just thought he was fairly solid. Didn't look like it was his first game.
Good.
And Morton was playing as the deeper midfielder in the first half, and I thought he looks good. Just does simple things and is quite mobile and didn't make any big mistakes. So just sort of kept being available when the back four needed someone to pass it to, and when we strangle a game and we sort of just pass it around at our own tempo, you need a six that that you can give the ball to and expect to get it back from.
Yeah.
And I thought he was that in the first half. Especially away from home.
Yeah, I'm a massive Tyler Morton fan. I just think he needs more games, which is easier said than done. But I do think if he gets more games, we'll see more from him, and I think he could have. He's definitely going to have a big future, but whether that's with us remains to be seen. But hopefully, because I'm a big fan of his.
Well, I wouldn't be worried, if he plays. I'm not going to worry that it's Morton coming on. What's he going to do here? But I think he looks a solid player. I haven't seen much of him before.
Oh, I really like him. It was good to see James McConnell back as well.
Yeah.
Played a big part in us winning this trophy last year. He was injured at the start of the season, but good to see him back.
The only thing I remember McConnell doing was that he did that bad bit of a nasty tackle on one of the Southampton players. Obviously, wasn't fully engaged in the game, but that was just the one thing I remember him doing. Sure, he was like neat and tidy when he come on and stuff, as he is. He was a nice footballer. But it's just that tackle looked a bit of an iffy one. That.
It's one of those that you just wince when you see it. You're like, shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was a red card first, and then they showed that he did actually, didn't he? He sort of pulled back before he. I thought it was. I thought he'd gone in with a straight leg, and that would have been a straight red card. But I think yellow was probably fair enough.
Yeah, I thought their player got his foot across, and that's why he collided with him. He wasn't trying to take out that leg, and their player stepped in front, and then he couldn't stop. He'd already committed to the challenge, but he didn't. He sort of pulled his leg back, and it wasn't as bad as it initially looked. But yeah, definitely yellow card.
Hmm.
Not really too much more to say about the game. It's like even though we weren't paying that much attention, I think even if we were, I don't think it was the most eventful game. I want to talk about Chiesa though, because it was a bit of a mixed bag from him, but overall I kind of felt like encouraged by what I saw from Chiesa. Did you notice him, John?
Yeah, what I noticed, those little flashes, he had the shot off the line, those direct, those good play, he cut in on his left foot, didn't he?
Yeah, that was really
got the
unlucky,
shot away, it was really unlucky. And he had one where I think it was neither a cross or a shot, but he sort of, I don't know what it was like.
That one.
Yeah, but he sort of, it was direct again though, wasn't it? What, the intent that he showed to try that, but it was like, the end product wasn't particularly good. There was neither one thing or the other, really, was it? But
what do you think he was trying to do?
I look like a shot to me.
I thought it was just a bad shot.
Yeah. But it's little glimpses, isn't it? I mean, he needs more minutes, and hopefully he'll get them with the games coming up. I mean, we've got a cup game against Accrington Stanley who are they coming up, but. So he's a shoe-in to playing that, as long as he stays fit. But hopefully he'll get games if we're comfortable, winning comfortably with like 20-30 minutes to go. He's going to get his match fitness built up in the coming weeks, you'd like to think.
The thing is as well, I mean, I don't know what people were expecting, but he doesn't need to be Mo Salah, does he? I mean, he needs to be competent. And he needs to contribute, but we're not looking for someone to score every time he comes on.
It'd be nice.
I mean, yeah, but if that's what you're looking for, who's that player? I mean, yeah, we'd love to have Vinicius or someone, or maybe not. But if you're out for that long and you come on for half an hour here, 15 minutes there, you're just looking for someone who can contribute. But if you expect him to score an assist every week, from that, and I think that's probably unrealistic. I thought he had some moments where you were thinking, yeah, he's been out for months, and then he had other moments. The one he brings down this ball that's comes out of the sky and turns around and nutmegs someone and just passes it to a teammate and off he goes. And so the confidence is there. I think maybe that there could have been a turning point for him in the game, because I thought he certainly ended the game brighter than he began it.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be one of them players, like like a super sub, like an Origi. I think he could have that impact as the season goes on. He's definitely going to contribute in a big game, I'm convinced of it.
He's going to do something.
In like a game when it's tight and it's nip and tuck or whatever. I've just got that vibe about him. I don't know what it's based on.
Like Shaqiri or someone like that.
Yeah, someone of that ilk, yeah.
That's a good shot, that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But,
well, if he can be that kind of
that's
player,
good,
or have that kind of impact, I think, for the money
what he's
we
cost
paid
as
and,
well.
yeah, that would be. I think that if we get that, then I don't think you can be too unhappy with him.
Absolutely.
No, that'd be great. It's just coughing there, boys. Just hang on.
Wonder why I went a bit quiet there.
No, I think he's going to have a big impact, and it could be in the semi-finals, because it's two legs. He's probably going to play a part in like one or both games. Maybe even like if we get to the final, maybe even he does something then. But I definitely think there's something in the works with Chiesa. He is going to do something. As for how good he's actually going to be and like the overall part he's going to play, it's all just going to come down to fitness, because I don't think there's any doubt over his pedigree or anything. It's whether he can deal with the intensity of English football and that. He was behind everyone else because of pre-season. He's playing catch-up, then picks up like a knock or two. I don't think he had any serious injury, but it's just they're trying to get him up to speed by working him hard, and then he's picking up like he can't do it. Like, I can't train today. I've got a bit of a knock, bit of a pull.
I think also...
Just got to build him up.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a bit of a record for being injured, doesn't he? But I don't know. Those were knee injuries.
Was good, though.
But I think we shouldn't forget the impact that he can make if he's... I'm saying this, if he's just going to be competent for us, that means, that Salah doesn't have to play every game 90 minutes. And, and having Salah fresh for X amounts of games, in the second half of the season could be what gets us over the line and, in more or less every competition we're in. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to win everything, but if we get Salah firing every time he's on the pitch, then that makes such a difference.
Yeah. Do you know what that reminds me of, Pete? When we signed Pellegrini, and it was so we could rest Sammy. So Sammy was always, for the big games, Sammy was always fresh. We could protect him a little bit by getting Pellegrini in. Just that extra body in defence, which meant Sammy wasn't having to play every single minute of every game. It's a similar thing. It's like, if Mo can have the occasional rest because Chiesa's coming in and doing the job, the benefit that you then get when Mo is still sharp, that's it's almost an assist for Chiesa, if you like. He doesn't have to be amazing. He's the sixth forward, isn't he? He doesn't have to be amazing. He's just got to be contributing. If
Chiesa hadn't been fit today, we might have been able. We might have had to have had Mo come down,
possibly,
and be part of the game. And now we have him fresh for the weekend.
Yeah.
You can subscribe to the Liverpool Way podcast on all the major platforms, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon or Podbean. Just search for the Liverpool Way, leave us a review and hit subscribe to automatically receive all new episodes. You can also head to liverpoolway.co.uk and grab a TLW season ticket for just £3 a month. There's tons of exclusive content, including match reports from every Liverpool game, weekly Premier League roundups, the TLW diary and access to the members-only forum. Lastly, you can follow us on social media at The Liverpool Way on Twitter and at The Liverpool Way TLW on Instagram and Facebook.
So you've got them 2 Champions League games as well still, which are a bally, really, aren't they? We've qualified, haven't we, for the last 16, is it?
Yeah.
We've got those, is it one in January and one in February against Lille and PSV. So Chiesa... Well, they're exactly, if he's fit, he's definitely going to, play in them games, you would have thought. I mean, I don't know how the seeding works in the Champions League, but, in terms of if you win the
You're
group...
You're supposed to get an advantage, but there's no way of knowing, because you don't know who's going to finish in, the lower places. You can get, Real Madrid finishing in, one of the bottom spots.
Which can we play Real Madrid, though?
I'm just using that as an example.
Right?
So, you might be playing one of the teams who finish, lower down, and because you finish first, you get, the so-called easier bracket. Except it's not, because you don't know who's going to be in those. It's some of the good teams who've underachieved are going to be there, and then you might have, someone like Celtic, who have overachieved a bit, and you think, well, I'd rather be playing them, but you're not playing them because they finished higher up.
But am I getting this wrong? I mean, the 9th team until 24, they have to play a playoff round against each other to go and then play the top 8. Yeah. So, I mean, we're skipping around.
But if you finish top, you get an easier on paper. It's not like a random draw after that.
Right,
I think you play the winners of the two. It'll be the 2 middle ones, won't it? Because if you've got the top 8 playing 24th or whatever it is, the 2 who play in the middle, I think the team that finishes top of it all would play that, because on paper that's the lowest seed, isn't it?
Right.
I'm not sure exactly how that works, but there is a so-called reward. If you finish first, you should, in theory, be getting an easier game, but it just doesn't work like that. So I don't think there is any real benefit other than prize money and prestige of saying, we finished top of the table and that.
Well, unless you get to pick your opponent, but that's not going to happen.
That'd be interesting though if you could get to pick, because it's kind of it's the disrespect aspect of it. Is if you pick someone, that team's going to be the cheeky bastards. They think we're shit, and it would add an extra little element of intrigue to it. And then it's like, what do you call out the big guns? Do you go, okay, we can pick who we're playing, Real Madrid, we'll see it at Anfield. Do you do it like that? I think that would be quite interesting.
Yeah, I think clubs wouldn't like it though, would they? Because, if you pick someone and then you lose, which anyone could at that stage.
UEFA definitely wouldn't like it, would they? If you think about it.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, I think they just want more big games.
In the later stages, they're not going to want.
I mean, they wouldn't want smaller clubs, getting too far. Once you get to the big games at the end, and that's when they want the big teams with the big, fan bases and the big TV audiences.
Yeah, you don't want Man City getting to finals. No one watching it. That's not good for anyone. Anything else on the game itself? I think we've covered the major incidents, haven't we? The goals. Their goal.
Well taken, that. It's a good finish, that.
Well taken. What do we think about the defending?
Well, two defenders sort of try and block the same shot. As I recall,
from memory, was Endo one of them? Was he?
Yeah, and Morton, and I think it might have been Kwanzaa.
I think it was Kwanzaa and Morton.
Yeah, Kwanzaa and Morton.
Kwanzaa and Morton, was it?
They sort of try and block the same shot, and he puts it in the other corner, which was a little bit stupid, but I mean, decent finish.
The only other thing I remember was that Grock coming on.
Oh no, I was going to get to that. I thought you were going to say when Kwanzaa got it in the balls. Was it you? Someone said something about that's probably what he needs right now to keep him off social media. I can't remember who it was. I thought it might have been you.
Little horn dog, yeah.
Has anything else come from that? I mean, has anything? The last I think I heard was just someone publishing texts or whatever it was.
It seems to have gone quiet, thankfully. Nothing's come from it, not that I've seen anyway. So, yeah, we just need all that to go away. That's not doing him any favours at all.
No, his performance against Fulham wasn't the best, was it? So, I mean, I don't know if it's
what did you think last night?
Influence. I thought he was. I mean, in the Fulham game, you noticed it, and you could see from his face that he was feeling it, and he knew he was having a really bad game. And last night, you didn't. He wasn't as much. He wasn't. Focused on as much, and I sort of took that as he's having a pretty solid game here, which I thought he was, and obviously he could have given away the penalty, if the referee had decided. But apart from that, I thought he handled it, solidly, and this was more like the Kwanzaa we knew from last season. I hadn't seen any stats or anything like that. This is just sort of
the eye test.
My impression is he had a decent game. John,
you're going to talk about Tall Paul, I think.
Yeah, he's just so shit, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's so bad. I mean,
we made him look good a few weeks ago as well.
Honestly, it's just like I'm embarrassed watching him. He just looks like one of them like League 2 cloggers, doesn't he? He's just like, I mean,
he played here in Denmark before he came to. I don't know. He went to Belgium, I think. Did he go to Palace as well?
Was he at Palace? Was he? Yeah.
I don't know. Might be confusing him with someone else.
Well, yeah. I mean, last night he just looked so fucking clumsy when he come on. I mean, he'll do the odd thing that makes him look effective, but he's so shit. He's so bad. Like I remember last year saying Ollie McBurney was like the worst player in the league, but I definitely think it's in this season.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ollie McBurney looked like he worked
in La Liga now. I think he's done okay.
Well, he'll have a tan now because he looked like he worked on fairgrounds.
I don't know if he'll have a tan.
Butland's Skegness or something like that.
Yeah, he's not going to have a tan. I think he's going to be staying well out of the sun, to be honest.
Yeah, but he's took over the mental this season from opposition players I've seen that play against us this season. It was McBurney, now it's him.
Yeah. I do like the fact that they call him Tall Paul. I like, it's an obvious trait and it rhymes with his name. And I think we probably need to bring that into the group. So, we've got Bald Paul now.
What?
That's
Why?
what he's going to be known as, Paul.
I don't even know his name. That's the thing. I don't know.
Paul Nathan?
No, not.
No, I don't. I just know him as Tall Paul.
But what is his
Onwatchu.
name? That player. I don't know his name, and I don't even particularly want to know. Actually, I'll just rather be ignorant to it.
do you
To be
want-
honest.
Pete
Do you want me
knows
to
about
tell you or not? Should
Go on,
I say
Pete.
it?
Yeah, go on.
Onwatchu.
Bless you.
I'm not sure. Dave, your cold's passing there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So next round, we don't know who we're getting yet because the final game's still getting played. Leicester City and Tottenham are winning 1-0.
It's 2-0 now.
2-0. Okay, so let's assume Tottenham are going through.
Is that
You
Man
can't really
United's-
assume when it's Tottenham, though.
No, that's true.
But probably...
Is that Man United's revival over?
Yeah, but they were only playing City, weren't they?
No, I suppose, yeah.
And honestly, though, watching that game, my takeaway wasn't like, oh, United look good. I thought
so
United,
bad.
I was saying in the chat, wasn't I, that they're going to score, United's going to get back
Yeah.
into it. It was not a vote for United, it was a vote against City and how shit they looked. I've never, ever seen Man City looking like that. Even this run where they've looked vulnerable, they've not looked themselves, and they've been like ropey in some games. I've never seen them look the way they looked against United. It was woeful, genuinely woeful. And I was not the least bit surprised when United equalised. I was a bit surprised they then scored again. But it didn't make me think, oh, United are back. Not at all. Tottenham's a little bit of a concern because they won 5-0 last week. They seem to be doing well tonight.
Well,
and
it's
we've got
3-0
to
now
go there.
anyway.
Fucking hell, there you go.
Solanke's just scored.
My
The
boy.
The defending was absolutely horrific as well, by the looks
So there
of
you
it.
go. 5-0, the 3-0 up now.
So doesn't that
and we go
point
there
to
on
them?
Sunday.
That points to them losing on Sunday, doesn't it?
It does point to like the way they've been in recent weeks. Like every time they start doing well, they just throw in like a stinker. So hopefully that's what happens on Sunday.
I said
The only
that
other
to Dan
thing-
last night. I said to Dan, Tottenham won't lose the 2 games. If they'd have lost tonight, I'd have fancied them, unfortunately, to get something on Sunday. But now they're winning tonight. As you've just rightly said, Dave, it sort of ties it up that hopefully we'll do the business on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game on Sunday because you don't really know what you're going to get out of Spurs. They are definitely a dangerous team, but they're also a batshit mental team that just give up so many chances with the way they play. So I think what it comes down to for me is it's like the tactical battle, and I would take Arne Slot all day to win that. He'll know what Tottenham are likely to do and how to exploit that. So hopefully we can go there on Sunday and get a win, because we've just had 2 draws in the league now. The Newcastle one, yeah, we should have won because it was the way the manner of the equaliser was bad, but we didn't really deserve to win that. The Fulham game, we could have lost because twice we had to come from behind. We had 10 men. Overall, that's like a really good performance, encouraging. But the net result is we've dropped 4 points from those 2 games. So don't really want to be dropping any more, and because then if it's 3 games in a row where you haven't won, that kind of becomes a bit of a thing. I don't think it's a thing at the moment. It's just it's just 2 results, but you've got to go to Tottenham and win. I think just to calm all of that down and just re-establish our dominance. I think so. That's it. It's a massive game for us on Sunday, but I do think Tottenham playing tonight, and they've had to put out pretty much their best team as well. I think. Because they want to win it. Postecoglou's been talking up how he always wins stuff in his second season, so they had to take that game tonight like really seriously and put the best team out. So if they put the best team out again on Sunday, hopefully tired legs, or they make some changes, which again is good because it's not their best players and they're playing against us.
I think they have made a few changes, haven't they? I mean, I didn't see their last lineup.
Most of the big hitters are playing though.
Yeah, the forwards. They've got Archie Gray in the back 4.
Yeah, but they've got injuries in the back 4. There's no Van der Ven, there's no Romero, so they are going to be playing backups against us on Sunday.
What I've seen at this game so far, Kulusevski looks fucking unplayable. He's been excellent. What I've seen, but he looks like he's played well all season, hasn't he?
Well, thankfully we have no issues at left back, so Hardly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you want
that
to
is
talk
a
about that,
concern.
Pete? Obviously, you haven't been on before, so
No.
do you want to give us your Robbo take?
I was discussing this, I think, with Paul the other day, and I was saying to him, at what stage do you begin to worry about it? Because how it's been going on all of this season, more or less, hasn't it, with Roberts, and I obviously still think he can reverse everything and come back and be as good as he always was. But the more time and the more games, and it keeps happening, that idea or whatever it is just sort of grows. The doubt that what if he can't, and how long can we carry him if he keeps not being able to find his usual self. Because he shouldn't be playing just because of what he did last year or the year before. I mean, you want him in the team because he's the best. But I just think he's had a disappointing season in my opinion, and I do worry that he isn't going to find his old form. I don't know what I do, and the club is probably looking at a left back, if nothing else, just to put him under a bit of pressure, and and then if he isn't able to find his own level, his old level, then you have someone who can replace him. I think definitely the last half of this season is maybe not make or break, but it's certainly very, very important for his Liverpool career to find his own old level.
I think that impacts on Costas as well, because if Robbo doesn't get back to his absolute best, you have to bring someone in, but it probably won't be to replace Robbo, which would mean it's Costas who goes. But if Robbo does get back, and Costas is just coming in and replacing him now and again and doing the role that he's always done, it becomes less of an issue. But I do think, this is not based on any inside information or anything like that, but I am absolutely certain that we're signing that left back from Bournemouth. I just think everything points to that. He ticks every box for what you would be looking for if you are signing someone, including the fact Richard Hughes signed him for Bournemouth, so obviously knows the agent, knows the player. They'll know everything about him, like in terms of stats and all of that. I just think he's just the obvious choice. So,
Yeah,
but I don't think it'll be January. I think it'll be.
Yeah, I was just going to say that'll be in the summer. I mean, the Premier League clubs generally don't do business in January between each other now. And Bournemouth are like, they don't need to sell him right now, and I don't think he's the type of player who'd rock the boat for a move either. In January either, by the looks of it. So. Probably
he's playing every week.
He's playing well. Bournemouth are a good side. Aren't they like 6th or something in the league at the moment as well? Or in the top 10 at least, aren't they? So, it makes sense. No doubt if he is the one, talks will be sort of ongoing between now and the summer. You would have thought.
You're probably right.
I'm going to wrap this up shortly because I keep having to mute myself because of these coughing fits I'm having. So we'll end it with predictions for Sunday. Pete, what are you expecting?
I went to the game last year and I thought we were the better team.
Oh, that game last year was...
Exactly. I can see it being quite high scoring, maybe 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah.
So maybe 3-1 to us.
I could see it being high scoring as well. I don't think we're keeping a clean sheet. Tottenham scored a lot of goals. They concede a lot as well.
I think we can obviously exploit space behind them because Postecoglou always, plays with a high line. I wouldn't imagine him going back on that.
Mate.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that he changed it for us. if he hasn't changed it for anyone else. So, I mean, that's what we exploited last year when Diaz scored that goal, wasn't it? So we just need to do it 2 or 3 times again.
Are you expecting many changes? Not from last night, but from the last league game.
I don't know. I mean, I can never predict who he picks for the forward positions and the midfield positions. I don't, he always does something else. So I'm not confident that I'll be able to. I don't think it'll be too many changes from what we saw at the weekend.
John, what are you expecting?
Yeah, in terms of the results, I think it'll be a 3-2. I think there'll be goals.
I think that's what I'd go for as well.
3-2, yeah. Well, United have just got one back. Even this game, what I've seen, they have United just haven't had the quality to punish them. There's been little moments where United could have got in, so I'm thinking, we won't pull that shit on Sunday. We'll be ruthless and clinical, you would have thought.
Hopefully.
So, yeah, I'm banking on us scoring at least 3. So it's, they're playing out from the back there. Fraser Forster is just give a daft pass away.
Herman Munster.
Yeah, so it's he's not the goal. He's not good playing out from the back with the ball at his feet, and he's terrible, in fact, and he's just proved it there. Xerxes just scored, so that's an area.
Letting him score.
Yeah, it's just a tap in. Yeah, it's like a cock up. Yeah,
he's
3
a poor
yards
player.
out.
He's terrible.
So I'm looking at it and thinking that's an area that we could really exploit. And Spurs are the kind of team, we seen it the other week against Chelsea, didn't we? 2-0 up, they were swarming all over Chelsea early on. And it'll just take a little moment in a game to go against them, and he could cave in like a pack of cards.
The decision
That's just
making,
who they are.
Like the penalties they gave away, it's just unbelievable. Like the decision making was just disgusting. But that comes from the manager. Like if your players make those kinds of decisions, unless you've just I wouldn't say if United were doing that, I wouldn't put that on Amarim because he's only just got there. But when you've been there a certain length of time, if your players are doing stuff like that, that's on you. And the decision making in that Chelsea game was just outrageously bad.
But you look at Spurs as well, and you always make the point, Dave, about goal difference being a barometer of a side's.
They're right up there, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I think they've got with us, or it might be just behind us, the second best goal difference. It might be them and Chelsea, level on goal difference, plus 17 or something. So, and Tottenham are where are they in the league? 10th or something, and they've got the second or third best goal difference in the league. So that shows they're obviously a dangerous side who score a lot of goals and can batter teams. Give sides some good hidings every so often. So, we are going to have to be concentrated on our game. And I think we will be. I think, that Fulham game, I think that'll give us confidence more than anything. I mean, I know Dan's got a different sort of train of thought with that, drop points. But, sometimes you can drop points and it wasn't... it was a point gained, wasn't it, really, coming from behind twice with 10 men. And you think the confidence and belief that's going to give. And I'm looking at that Chelsea-Everton game as well, and everyone's thinking Everton are Chelsea are going to beat Everton. But I'm not convinced. I think Everton are tailor-made to target that goalkeeper more than anyone else in the league. Goalie, they'll have him flapping everywhere, I think. If
the other A-Louse team, Arsenal.
I was waiting for that, of course, the other set-piece merchants. But... I think Everton could really put it under Chelsea, and I think they generally do well at Goodison against them. The fans are going to be up for it. It's got the new ownership. It's going to be a bit of optimism there. So, so I'm not I'm thinking Everton could cause Chelsea a lot of problems, to be honest with you.
So I think Chelsea will win, but I agree with everything you've said there, and I wouldn't be shocked if Everton 1-0'd them, which they've done quite a lot. It seems like they beat them 1-0 every season. That's probably not the case, but it always feels like that. And Arsenal as well. It always feels like Everton beat Arsenal at Goodison.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And imagine the boost that will give us going into our game. I mean, if we slip up, after, if Everton do take points off Chelsea, then you think, oh, fucking hell. That's when, a little bit of doubt creeps in then, isn't it? If we don't do the business against
Probably
it.
depends how we slip up. Like, if we draw and we're really unlucky, you can just kind of shrug that off. But if it's not convincing, and that's when you'd go, okay, that's 3 games in a row now we've dropped points. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. We should beat Tottenham. It's not a guarantee, because Tottenham are dangerous. They can score goals. We know that. But, if we're at it, we should win.
I'm watching this game now, and Spurs are all over the place, and that's in 5 minutes since United scored. That's just what they can do, isn't it?
Yeah. If United get another one,
yeah,
Spurs would probably just completely shit down their own leg, wouldn't he?
This is it. Yeah. So I fancy us Sunday. I really do fancy us. Yeah.
So finally, who would you want in the semis? Pete, I'll start with you.
So we have Newcastle, Tottenham, and Arsenal.
At the moment, yeah,
right?
unless Spurs go the full Spurs.
Right. I'd probably want Spurs.
Yeah, I think
Spurs, because we can score goals against them, and they seem to have spells in games where they collapse, or aren't concentrated or whatever. I think I'd want them. Obviously, that's probably going to bite me in the arse later. But
no, I agree, and I'd also say, if United were to come back and somehow get through, that's who I'd want.
Yeah.
Either Spurs or United. I want no part of Newcastle and the whole, their desperation to win a trophy, having to go there midweek again with the way they get themselves up for games like that, and then they do fuck all at the weekend. I can't be doing with that. I don't want any part of Newcastle. I'd rather play them in the final when I think we just roll them over.
Sounds a lot like Tottenham, though, doesn't it? I mean, desperation for trophies.
Yeah, but
getting up for big games.
The Newcastle just make it difficult for you, and that with the crowd and stuff. I don't really feel that way about Spurs. It's a different threat that they pose. I'd rather not have Arsenal. Has something happened in that game, John? Dan's just posted Spurs doing Spurs things here.
Oh no, he must be going on about a few minutes ago.
2 minutes
United
ahead.
Scored.
No, but Dan's always ahead. I'm even when I'm sat in my seat at Anfield and I'm watching the game in front of me, Dan's posting in the chat goal, and then the ball goes in. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? Dan's just always ahead of us, no matter what. You're watching live TV, not on a stream. You're not. Delay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm a minute behind. Ahmad's just scored.
There you go.
Forster again. Forster. What the fuck is he doing?
Fucking Mystic Dan strikes again.
Dan's fucking got the DeLorean stashed in his garage, hasn't he?
Oh, I'm tempted to stay on now just until the end of that game. We could just fucking live stream the game, watch along. But no, I reckon we call it a night now. So John, who would you want in the semis, and then we'll wrap
what I'm seeing here, it's definitely fucking Spurs, yeah.
Or whoever comes through this game.
I don't like the idea of a 2-legged semi against United.
I love the idea of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd fancy us to beat them, but you just don't know, do you? I mean, you look at the cup game last season, the FA Cup game, and you wonder how we'd approach that game in terms of what kind of team would we put out and stuff. There's that side of it to come into it.
Does that not apply whoever we get though?
I don't know as much. I'm not too sure. Against Spurs, I think we rotate a bit more. I don't know about United.
When are the semi-finals?
I'm not sure.
Because
it's fairly soon. I think it's in January.
Yeah, so wouldn't it depend? How strong you go would depend on what other games we have around that time and how it's gone over Christmas. Because if we're 15 points ahead in the league, then in that situation, then possibly you could rest one or two for a league game and then play a stronger team than otherwise. But if the league is really tight, then you prioritise the league games over a semi-final, even if it was against United.
I think from that perspective, worst outcome would be Arsenal, because I think we would have to go, if not full strength, fairly close to it for both of those games, because I think they probably would do.
So yeah, Arsenal have got that pressure, you know, the whole trophy thing that you have mentioned with
no, they've won 3 trophies.
Charity Shields, yeah. And Arteta giving it the big one, yeah.
Trophies. What's all this fuss about, this nonsense about only winning 1 trophy? That was pure cringe. I don't actually know. Like, I can tell you all like the trophies we won under Klopp. I can't tell you how many Charity Shields we won under Klopp. I don't know.
Like, when Mourinho says he's won Charity Shields, it's funny. Like, I can...
because it's part of his image, the whole pantomime villain stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And when Julio did it, he only did it because he liked the idea of saying he won 5 trophies in a year.
In a calendar
so he was
year,
counting it. He probably wouldn't have counted it otherwise, but he wanted to say we won 5 trophies.
Like, does David Moyes count as Charity Shield when he won it at United for the 8 or 9 months he was there? I don't know.
I don't think he does.
No, he probably doesn't.
Because when they won like the Conference League, a big thing was made over David Moyes finally winning a trophy.
Mm.
And I don't think David Moyes was like, no, that's my second one. I've won a Charity Shield. So it's Arteta's the only one who's like trying to claim this as like some sort of big achievement. I just thought that was just embarrassing.
Didn't they only qualify for one of them?
They did, yeah.
City
done the double. So they were there through default. And then they've won it, but you know, you're only there because you finished second in I don't even know if they lost the FA Cup final. They probably didn't. They probably were second in the league, so that's why they were in there. But yeah, I just thought that was like proper, desperate, try-hard, cringy, embarrassing stuff. But very much on brand as far as Arteta and Arsenal are concerned.
Is he feeling
absolutely.
Is he feeling the pressure now already? I say already. It's been there a long time.
Because their fans are like constantly Arteta out every time they drop points now. So
yeah, I mean, are those the online fans?
He's done a good job. He shouldn't be feeling the pressure. He's like built something there and the contending. Okay, so sometimes like you come up short, but look where they are compared to where they were. He shouldn't be under any pressure at all. He'd have 2 titles if City weren't cheating. So yeah, I look at it like, you know, they're the rightful champions for the past 2 seasons in my eyes. But City's cheating obviously distorts everything like that.
Thing with Arteta though, it's like he's just meddled with things that didn't need meddling with, because Arsenal were like, in his first season, they were quite like free flowing, weren't they? Yeah. And they were relatively solid until Saliba got that injury late on. This season, he just seems to be like,
he sucked all the fun out of it.
So, yeah,
they don't
that's
look
it,
like
yeah.
they're enjoying themselves anymore.
Yeah,
they look like they're
it.
playing with like under pressure, and if they win a game, it's like it's not enjoyment that they've won. It's like, like, fuck you, you doubted us and we've won. It's just, I don't know, he's taking the fun out of it. Too much pressure like around them, and that's why I just think they're not equipped to deal with it. I just think they're like a bit of a basket case club. Definitely a basket case fan base.
Yeah, the online fan base certainly, but
even the match going fans, they all fucked off. Like the Everton game, like last 5 minutes, there was
they've definitely got the most reactive fan base, haven't they?
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I haven't seen pray for Arteta trending on Twitter.
Did you see Troops the other day with his 9/11 football
that
thing?
Was scandalous.
I don't even know what he meant. I didn't even get it. Sometimes, like, you know, it's a totally inappropriate thing to say, but you're like, yeah, but it was funny. I didn't get it. I didn't even know what point he was trying to make. It was just weird.
It was just awkward. I felt awkward watching it. Like,
he was pointing at the stadium and going, Saddam's in there. Like, Bin Laden's in there.
Wasn't Bin Laden an Arsenal fan as well, though?
Yeah. But I didn't know what he was trying to say. It was weird.
No, and it wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't.
He's never funny. He's horrible. But no, it was just weird. Yeah, well, I don't think we can hang around till the end of the Tottenham game. We'll just assume that Spurs are going to not Spurs it up and see it out. And then see who we get in the draw. Anyone but Arsenal for me, I think. But ideally Spurs or United. And then we've got Spurs on Sunday, obviously. John, you said 3-2. Pete, you said 3-1. I'm going to say 3-2 as well. Let's hope we're right. And we got 3 points at the end of it. We'll be back after that game. In the meantime, we should have the pod that we recorded last night, the Christmas special. The plan is to post that one up tomorrow, which is Friday. If not, maybe Saturday, but should be out before the Tottenham game anyway. And then we'll be back after Spurs.
Sorry,
So,
Dave, can I just say
yeah,
something
go
before? Just a big thank you to James. It was fantastic night last night. Really enjoyed it. It's great lads. I had a little chat with them in the pub and all that, and at Mar Edgerton's, a bit of a free advertisement there for them. But yeah, it's really great night, and thanks for the hospitality.
Yeah, it was great, and I think James has already said when we win the league, we'll do like a special pod in the studio again. So that's something to look forward to. But yeah, listen out for that, because I think like it couldn't have gone any better. I think it's a really good pod that we've done last night. So you'll all enjoy it, and it'll be out in the next day or two anyway. So yeah, we'll be back on Sunday, and until then, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you soon.